Globalist WEF urges people to give up their car ownerships. Stalinist Albania allowed only communist officials to have wheels, that is, cars. A World Economic Forum leader has cheerfully told younger people they can look forward to a future in which they will own nothing and be happy. So it's no surprise that giving up private cars, an icon of American culture, symbolic of the nation's spirit of independence and distinctive upholding of individual rights, will be one of the many adjustments people will have to make to save the planet and create a glorious future, according to WEF. The average car or van in England is driven just 4% of the time, which is not at all resource efficient, urges Winnie Ye, who is described as WEF's lead for responsible sourcing. And she writes, more sharing can reduce ownership of idle equipment and thus material usage. She writes an article published on WEF's website that was spotlighted by the Gateway Pundit. Now, I don't know if her name sounds Asian, but I don't know if she's from China, which is a communist country, obviously. She points out that car-sharing internet platforms such as GetAround and Blue SG allow people to rent vehicles on an hourly basis, and all of this, she said, is part of broader transition from ownership to usership. Back to the future, if ultimately nations choose to ban private car ownerships outright, it would not be the first time. Albania's Stalinist regime did not allow citizens to own cars during the half-century of tyrannical rule. In 1988, as the Communist Party grip on power eased slightly after the death of its founder, dictator Enver Hoxha, an Albanian official told the Christian Science Monitor the government still did not want to start private ownership of cars. He said, we can't afford it and it would create too big social differences. And then we know, of course, Albania is still a very, very poor country. Now, the communist dictatorship officially ended December 1990, and with it, the ban on car ownership. Peter Lucas, who became the first American reporter to visit Albania in 30 years, when he landed in the capital Tirana in 1986, wrote a column recalling his experience as Senator Ed Markey, Democrat in Massachusetts, and Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat in New York, were announcing their Green New Deal plan in 2019. He wrote, the Albania he witnessed in the 1980s was their Green New Deal come true. There were no cars in Albania. You could not own one, buy one, rent one, or even steal one. The exception was vehicles owned by the government. And Lucas said that on rare occasions he saw a dark limousine with shaded windows speeding down the main boulevard in Tirana. Fearful pedestrians would surmise that the limo carried Communist Party bigwigs and only privileged people who had access to cars and chauffeurs, he wrote. Lucas pointed out that the lack of access to cars meant that the Albanian police state the people would be watching easily. You could travel only so far by donkey or by bicycle. And this is on WND. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. This is by Art Moore. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.